All right, good evening, everybody. Happy finding the Royal We live. I'm so happy to have you guys on. The stream is starting right now. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the top best strategy for going no contact. It's actually a strategy that it consists of four key strategies that we're going to be talking about, guys. I'm excited to share this with you. This is the best strategy for going no contact. Not only are we going to talk about the strategy for going no contact, but we're going to talk about why it is so important that you go no contact, because this does seem to be an issue. A lot of you guys want to know, is it good to block them on social media? I get this question all the time. Should I block the narcissist on social media, or will it show that I am still thinking of them if I block them? This is all part of no contact. So we're going to talk about it. Before we get into it, I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds just to allow some people to sign on here. So, hi, everybody. How are you? Hi, Kim. Hi, Annette. Hi, Robert. Hi, Dee. How are you? Taylor, what's going on? I'm so glad that you guys are here. Moderators are here, and I'm so excited and blessed to have such good moderators a part of this program. And we're going to be talking about adding even more moderators in the future. How you doing, Taylor? How are you? I hope everything is good. I really do. I'm so glad that you're here. Hi, Cynthia. How are you? Maria, sorry about that. Stacy Boyd, how are you? Freddie Johnson, hey, what's going on, man? Emma, Nicole, Annette, Susan, Fifi Lafleur. I hope I pronounced your name correct. I like that. I would like if you could do abuse by proxy. I remember you mentioning that on one of the videos, so I'm going to look into that. All right. I will. Thank you, Fifi. Appreciate that. So let's go ahead and let's dive right in, guys. We're going to go ahead before we get to the phone line. Now, the phone line is open. You guys are welcome to call in live at any time, but we're going to go ahead and get started right now with the lesson that we're going to be talking about, which is the top 4 keys of going no contact. And not only is it keys, but we're going to talk about why it's so important, because no contact, guys, is an absolute huge important thing. All right. So first of all, when we talk about going no contact, guys, there's something that we have to understand. You have to understand the reason why you're going no contact. And now, for the purpose of this show and what we're going to be talking about today, I am going to be drawing the illustrations and the lesson that I gave in a previous video that I already put out there called the 4 keys of no contact. And at some point you can go back and watch that video, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth, but also quicker right here before we get to the phone calls. Okay. So I'm going to lean on a prayer that I'm sure we all know. It's called the Serenity Prayer. The prayer goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The difference between what? The difference of knowing what you can change and what you can't change. So when we come to relationships with abusive narcissists, and it doesn't matter if it's your parents or if it's your boyfriend or a girlfriend or a brother or a sister, you have to understand that you cannot change them in the relationship. You can do nothing to change them and how they treat you. So you have to accept that. This is the grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. You cannot change them. You cannot change how they want to treat you. The courage to change the things I can. What can you change? You can change yourself, and that's it. You could change your level of involvement in the relationship with abusive people. You can change that. Now, I understand there's some who are kids, but they're not the ones watching right now. So if there's young people who are in families that have this and they can't escape, that's a different story. They can't get out of the situation. That's a different story. But you as an adult watching this right now, you have a choice. You have the ability to change, okay? So it just takes that courage, and this is the part of that prayer. You have to ask for that courage, and then you have to start to implement and take steps. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Going no contact is implementing the steps, the courageous steps to change the things in life that you can change. And by changing these things, you're changing your involvement with abusive people. So the first strategy that we're going to be talking about with going no contact is your personal space. Okay. You want to develop the boldness to protect your personal space, the courage to be able to say no to people. It's typical that empaths like to be, not like to be, but you end up being pulled around. You're invited over here, you're invited over there, and you feel like you have to go. Why? Because you don't want to let anybody down. Why? I'm going to go because it's such a difficult thing to say no. So there's going to be value in being able to say, no, I can't go. Say no, and then stand by that. Don't go. Experience what it feels like to upset somebody and to hurt someone's feelings when you say no to them. No, I can't go. Experience that and get used to it, because you cannot live your life pleasing and serving other people. So say no and don't go. This is a part of protecting your personal space, which is huge as far as going no contact. That's what going no contact is all about, protecting your personal space from within you. You can't stop people from approaching you. You can't stop the narcissist from talking about you. You can't stop anything outside of yourself, but you can stop yourself from going. So you can say no and don't go. Change your typical patterns is another way. So when it comes to going no contact, if you know that you are going to run into a particular person that makes you uncomfortable because they're abusive, then change your patterns. Don't go to that same place at that same time. There's a lot of times where people will want to continue going to the same gym that they went to where they knew the abusive narcissist would be there, or they'd go to the same coffee shop and hang out, or they'd go to the same place. And I get it, guys. The attitude behind going is, why should I stop? Why should I stop going to a place where I like to be? That makes me look like I am somehow a coward. No, it doesn't. It makes you look smart and wise. You anticipate and you know, okay, if I'm going to go to this place, this person's going to be there, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to see the person. So you know what? I'm going to find somewhere else to go. And in time, you're going to realize how small and itty bitty that place was that you were so attached to really is. That one gym, there are 50 gyms in your neighborhood that you can go to. And the abusive narcissist does not have to know which one you're going to. Okay. But again, and I'm not saying it's easy, because you're going to fight that battle inside of yourself that says, I want to go there. That's where I'm used to going. And I'm not going to let somebody chase me out. Okay. That's your ego talking, by the way. The reality is that that's where your boldness has to come in. The courage has to come in and say, maybe I should go somewhere else, find some new people to hang out with. That takes courage, and it's smart, okay, to avoid having to see the narcissist, which is just going to put you into an anxious state. It's going to make you lose your focus. You don't want to go there, right? Last but not least, as far as your personal space, keep moving, guys. Keep it moving. Keep walking. If you happen to bump into your narcissist, say hi, say bye, keep it moving. Don't stop for long, drawn-out conversations. You can be nice. You can smile. You're an empathic individual. Be empathic, but keep moving. Keep it moving, right? And by the way, guys, while I'm talking, you're welcome to start dialing and pick up the phone, make that phone call, because I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon. Next key, okay? So the first key, the first strategy is the personal space. Next one is your phone calls and texts. If you have to change your phone number, change your phone number. You should be blocking your texts, filtering your phone calls. If you recognize it's the narcissist, you don't have to answer. You don't have to reply to all the texts. You can ignore them. They look for supply. So if you're able to not respond, that is probably the best thing you can do. Better than arguing, better than any of that stuff, is just to not respond, and don't feel bad about not responding. If it's an emergency, they will let you know. We have a call from Ontario, Canada. If you hang on one moment, from Ontario, Canada, and we'll get right with you. Okay, if it's an emergency, they will let you know. All right, but chances are it's not an emergency, and it's just a headache, and you don't need to deal with it. Okay, social media. Guys, do not be afraid to deactivate your social media accounts. I actually had somebody comment not too long ago and said, Kevin, I don't want to block the narcissist on social media, my ex, because that will make him believe that I am still upset and that I am still attached. And I get it. It's reverse thinking, and I was once there. But no, that is incorrect. You want to deactivate from them. You want to detach from them. And if that means you have to say, listen, I got to take a break from social media altogether, I'm going to deactivate all my accounts, I did that, guys. I did it. I got off of Facebook altogether for almost a year, and I've got some great news about that. You want to know something amazing happened when I did that? I'd say about after 6 months, I lost interest in even using it. And to this day, today, I am rarely on Facebook. Just have no interest. It went away. Whereas 3 or 4 years ago, I was all about it. And I was caught up in that game of, oh, if I block this person, what are they going to think? And this and that. It's ridiculous. Okay. So no, get rid of the abusive people, because what happens is if you're on social media, you're going to be tempted to look at them. You're going to be tempted to worry about what they're going to see, what they're going to say. You're going to be involved in that game. You've got to get out of that game. Whatever it takes. Trust me, social media, Facebook, Twitter is not worth your anxiety. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. All right? Get out of that world, or at least block the abusive narcissist. Block them out. Don't worry if they're going to say, "Oh, well, she must really care about me if she blocked me." So what? Let them say that. At least you're free and gone, okay? Unfollow mutual connections as well on social media, because they can see you and you can see them through mutual connections. I know this is difficult. There's a lot of people who you think are your friends. You don't have to delete them, but unfollow them so you don't see all their posts, so you don't see what the narcissist jumps in and says on their posts, okay? Finally, guys, the last one, change your circle of friends if you have to. If you have mutual friends that you met with the narcissist, chances are they are not your good friends anyways, okay? They're going to be used as pawns in this game. Change that circle of friends. I'm not talking about people who are close to you. People who are close to you, sometimes family, friends, the narcissist will also try to use against you. But if they love you, they will stick by your side. And here is the real key, and I'm going to end it right here, guys. In this process of going no contact, you will see who is for you and who is not. So not only is narcissistic abuse opening your eyes to the reality of abuse in the world, it is going to shape your future and the future of your relationships. You need to see this. If you have close friends or family members who are going to side with an abusive narcissist over you, trust me, you need to see it, because it's going to show you who those people are who you thought were so close. So look at this. Don't look at it as I've got to save these people. I've got to save these relationships. No, you don't. You need to observe and watch what's going to happen. And it's going to help you to identify these people in your life, whether family or friends. You're going to see the type of people they really are. Are they the type to change on you, to really know you, but change suddenly because of what some lying, manipulative, abusive person has to say? If they do that, then you need to see that. And then you need to grow into a new way of approaching your relationship with these people. So guys, coming out of narcissistic abuse, it's not just about learning about narcissistic abuse and how to set boundaries. It's also learning about how to see people for who they really are, even people who you think are close. And it's going to be an adjustment of a new way you're going to associate with all of these people. All right, guys, I know that went a little bit over, but it's an important message. I'm going to go ahead and take this telephone call from Ontario, Canada. You're live on the Royal We. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, Kevin, for accepting my call, and thank you, everyone. This is actually All Honey Cutie, and I've been listening to your videos for a few months now, and they've been fantastic.
Thank you.
I'd like to touch on the no contact. I've been through stages. Like in the beginning, it's like I was like looking through everything because I wanted to know what they were up to. It was more of a protection thing for me, I think.
Right.
But if I was to be very honest, it was like me holding on to something.
Right.
And as time went on, I grew to accept the fact that the person that I was with wasn't real. It was
That's
like
right.
a fantasy or something. They were subhuman or something like that.
That's right.
And so I accepted it, but it came in stages. It wasn't something that I could do right away. And even if somebody told me to do it, I never did it. I spent 7 years just studying this person, trying to put things together, trying to get information to put it together. But it's just recently now I've been doing much better.
Good.
And I think it's because I'm kind of stubborn too. I just like to do things my way.
Right.
And so what I've done is mutual, like our family, like my in-laws, like that are related to him. Certain ones I've cut off completely because I don't see any reason why I need to keep them in my life.
That's right.
Especially when I don't feel like, I mean, it's not so much of the bad things that he's done to me. It's the silence of those around me who are supposed to be supportive that has bothered me so much. And if they're going to sit back and be silent while the abuse, and they know the abuse is carrying on, I just don't want anything to do with them. And I just blocked them. And what I did is I blocked them. I went off to one of the social medias because I was never really in it anyway. I've also changed my career because my career was based on what he was doing. You know, like for example, we're in financial services,
Right.
you know, investments, insurance, and stuff like that. And I only came into the field because he was doing it, and I wanted to be supportive. So I decided just to not do that anymore, but to maybe do something else because I have a lot of experience in other areas, right?
Yeah.
I'm still,
Yeah.
maybe he really sabotaged my work, so I'm not working. I'm not even doing anything right now.
So it's okay. So you're not doing anything right now, but I'll tell you what. It sounds like you're doing everything right, according to what's going to be best for you, getting away from the relationship. So that's good. There's nothing wrong with anything that you're sharing.
I feel proud of myself. And,
good. Yeah.
and like recently, my daughter, like I'm in Canada. She competes in. She's 15 years old. She'll be 16. And since he's been gone, like he hasn't contacted me since November of last year. And all of a sudden, I got a barrage of text messages like he wanted to see his daughter, he misses her, and I know he doesn't miss her. I don't know. He's not. It's just ridiculous. And I'm going to court and everything like that. There is a court order where he can't even contact her directly,
right,
because of what he did. So he sent me a barrage of texts, and he kept making these comments to me and everything like that, and I totally ignored it. And I felt so proud of myself I did that. That's the first time.
Good for you.
I never just told him off, like, proper.
Good.
But what happened during that time as well, I went into a deep depression. I started feeling depressed because of my situation. And so, but I did feel proud of myself because I ignored him, but I felt depressed. I've been depressed for like a few weeks now, like really bad.
Okay. And it's hard. It is hard. It's hard to go no contact. It is hard.
Yeah. And nothing. I just remembered by remembering what he did to me.
That too.
Like
Sure.
Both of us.
Sure.
And so,
and this is why it's so important to go no contact, right? And this is the other aspect of that checklist that I put out there, is that you're going to have this pain and this discomfort, and this goes for everybody in the community. It's going to hurt as you have flashbacks and you're working through these things of the things that were said to you, the way the relationship was. It's going to be hard no matter what. But if you are still coming into contact with the abusive narcissist, if you're still attached to them on social media, if you're still bumping into them at work, if you're still bumping into them at the gym, it's going to prolong that, because what's happening is you're still hanging on to that little bit of, I can have the relationship that I believe I can have. There's that stubbornness there. There's that ego inside of you and inside of me that still says we can do something here. We can make something work. And you can't. This is where you've got to let that go. The best way to let it go is to write out that strategy. That's why I had a checklist on a piece of paper so that you can start to write stuff out. Change your phone number if you have to. Deactivate social media if you have to. Stop going to this place at work. Stop going to this gym. Find a new gym. On and on and on. You make your 4 key strategy to go no contact, and it will help you heal faster. I guarantee you guys, everybody, you and everybody watching, if you come up with this strategy and you are able to keep yourself from coming in contact with the abusive narcissist, which is what it's all about. It's you taking care of yourself. In time, you will not miss them. You will not miss the social media. You will not miss the work. Your life will flourish with other things. I guarantee it. But you've got to, because it worked for me. And I didn't think
Yes.
anything was going to get me to a place where I was not wishing I could go back and fix the problem that I couldn't fix because I never caused the problem. You guys listening to that? When it comes to narcissists,
Yes.
you are not the cause of their problem.
Exactly.
You happen to be dragged into their world of anger and frustration and misery. And when you stepped into their world, you became the new bag that they put all that in. Okay. But
Yes.
you were not the cause of it. So you've got to get yourself out of that world. Okay. And
And I
you
and
by
I
the way are doing a
yes,
fantastic job at that. So I want to thank you for calling and
thank
sharing
you.
that. And I want to wrap up this phone call by just giving you
Okay.
encouragement with the depression. You know, it's going to take time. You're going to experience a lot of different feelings as far as the depression, the loss, the mourning. There is a lot of stuff. There's a grieving process, but for you, these no contact strategies are going to be super important so that you can heal quicker.
Yes. And I think it's helped me to reflect on um, why I got involved with this person to begin with, so I could
Sure.
just time away from all the drama and like realizing that what I really got involved with, the person I got involved with, it was a potential, it was a
Right.
project, it wasn't a partner, and that's what I
Exactly.
think I failed in, and so now I know
That's
what
where
I'm
we
not
all
to
get.
do.
Yeah, that's all of our story. That's a typical empath way of looking
Yeah,
at things, right? Well, we look at these people and
yeah,
oh, they're cute, or they're hard workers, or they're kind of
yeah,
funny, or there
yeah,
there's some kind of potential there that we feel we can run with, and wow, I can really make a good relationship here. Nope. And so I like how
yeah. I can fix it.
yeah, you put it perfectly. And
Yeah,
again, narcissistic abuse comes down to us being with people we have no business being with, doing things we have no business doing, going places we have no business going. So with that, listen, I want to thank
thank
you for
you,
calling so much. I appreciate your
thank you
phone
very
call.
much.
Very encouraging, all the way from Ontario, Canada. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Good night. All right, guys, telephone line is back open. That was an excellent call. I really appreciate it when people are able to call with encouragement of the things that they are doing. And while we're waiting for our next telephone call, I want to give a shout out to our moderators tonight. Blue, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for everything that you do. Guys, be sure to give some love to Blue. And guys, we have a telephone call from a place. I'm going to have to get some help with uh, the pronouncing of this because I do not know where this call is coming from. You're live on the Royal We. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Taiwan.
From Taiwan. Okay. What does it
Yeah.
Thank you for calling all the way from Taiwan. I am so happy to hear from you. What time is it in Taiwan right now?
It is 12:30.
12:30 p.m.
Yeah, 12:30 p.m. It's actually Saturday here.
Oh, I was going to say you're only a couple hours ahead, but then you said it's on Saturday. Okay,
No,
well.
no, it's Saturday. It's like kind of change your AM to PM and
Well,
and pop it half a day ahead.
well, welcome to the Royal We. You're joining us on our Friday night here, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that you called. What's going on over in Taiwan?
I was actually just wondering if I could get a little bit of advice.
Sure.
I had called in once before, and I have essentially, I guess, lost my narcissist. I've been no contact for about a year and a half. About total no contact for about a year. But when he left here, he he was never much good with planning and things. So there was a whole bunch of his stuff that he had taken to the airport that he was moving to another country. He was flying away, and he for some reason had this taxi bring it back to my house. So I have his stuff in my house. And this was a couple years ago, and he had asked me if I could like go through it online with him, and he could kind of decide what I was going to post to him and stuff, and he was going to send me money, blah blah blah. You know the promises.
Hmm.
None of that ever happened, but it's okay to get rid of his stuff, right? Because I kind of cut off contact with him, not the other way around.
What kind of stuff are we talking about?
And I did. I didn't ask for his stuff. It's a bunch of clothing, a bunch of household items, a bunch of personal items. I haven't actually gone through it. I don't want to go through it. I've got it kind of in my storage room, and I'm just keeping it there.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's my storage room, you know?
Well, it's your place, right? And so I take it that the relationship didn't end well at all. And correct?
It ended well. It was the aftermath that was really not good.
After he left?
The divorce was friendly, actually. The divorce, it wasn't friendly when we were together. I think I was kind of his only friend that he had left at that time.
Are you both native? Are you both native in Taiwan?
No, we're not. We're both expats. We're actually from different countries. I'm Canadian. He's South African.
Okay.
And it kind of just broke down, and then
Right.
I left him, and we got back together briefly. You know how it goes. And
Right.
then at one point, I just said, "We're getting a divorce," and he went along with it because he had met someone else. So I kind of had to jump into that.
Yikes! So
frame.
how long have you had his stuff now?
Oh, I think it's about 2 years.
Oh gosh, yeah. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. If it was anything that he wanted, he would have already contacted you and said, "Hey, there's something I really need," right? And
Okay.
you need to. What I would have you. Yeah, get rid of it. If what I would do, bag it up. I would send him. Maybe if you. It depends on the type of person you. I don't know. This is your choice, but you could send some kind of message somehow and say, "I've got your stuff in a big bag," and that's what I would do. Put it in one big bag, set it out by the side of the house or somewhere, and just say, "You've got a bag of stuff. It's sitting on the side of the house or wherever, and it's going to sit there until you pick it up." Seriously.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just say it's not your responsibility.
It's not my ego interfering it because it's kind of like this no contact thing. I don't want to break it now.
Gotcha.
And I don't want to contact him, but I also don't want to be responsible for throwing away like a family heirloom or something.
Well, but this is the thing. If it's a family heirloom, he wouldn't have dismissed it, left it at your place, and disappeared for 2 years and not thought about it. So that leads me to believe that there's nothing of value there. Okay, we're talking about old pairs of his underwear and sneakers. Okay, and whatever, it probably laying around, his favorite records or whatever. That, you know what? Listen, if he doesn't want him, he doesn't want him. If he makes no effort to get him, he doesn't want him. But sometimes these people get in this mentality of, oh, well, I was there and I have my stuff there, so it's now your responsibility. No, it's not. And
do you think he's using it as a means of control? Like, because I keep fearing that one day he's going to turn up and I'll come home at night after work or something, and he'll be sitting on my doorstep, and that's like a fear I have. This is why,
if that's a legitimate fear, if you know him in this type of way, then you can make a message saying your stuff is in a bag. It's going to be sitting here. That's it. Period. End. Right. Don't get any more involved in that. And you did your part. So if he ever comes knocking, you can say, "I sent a message to you. This is where your stuff has been. I didn't hear anything back. I don't know where your stuff is." Right. So that's just how I would handle that. But you got to get it out of your space, because every time you don't want to walk through your place tripping over his stuff. It's going to be a constant reminder of a relationship that you no longer want any part of. So, first and foremost, definitely go through the task, put gloves on, whatever you got to do, bag that stuff up, and put a zip tie on that bag, and put it somewhere where you don't have to see it, and it's no longer in your space. That's step number one.
Okay.
After that step number two is either you or somebody else, a friend, come up with a way to send him that brief message. "Hi, this is so-and-so. You have a bag of stuff, by the way, here, and it's going to sit here. Figure out how to get rid of it before somebody comes and helps themselves to it." Okay?
Okay.
Type of a thing.
Even if he's in another country.
Not your problem, not your fault.
Okay.
He left
Okay.
and sent stuff he didn't want, apparently, back on a taxi cab to you. What type of
Right.
listen, if I was leaving with no intention of coming back, I would put all my stuff in a suitcase or 2 or 3. So,
Yeah.
don't go into the games of he wants to he's using it like a flag. I still have my flag in her house, and so I still own that territory type of thing. No, he doesn't. Okay?
Okay.
It's your territory.
Thank you so much.
Hope that makes sense to you. All righty. Thank you for calling
Kevin.
all the way from Taiwan. I appreciate your telephone call.
Thank you for your advice. I appreciate it.
All righty. Have a good night. Or a good day.
You as well. Bye-bye.
No, good night.
Or,
Okay.
yeah,
bye.
You have a good night.
Have a good
Bye.
Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
I love it. It's great hearing telephone calls from different parts of the world. I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for calling all the way from Taiwan. And from Taiwan, we're going to jump over to New Jersey, back in the States. How are you? Thank you so much for calling. You're live on the Royal We. Are you there? There you are. Hello.
How's it going? This is pretty awkward for me. I'm just recently, within a year of dealing with this whole situation myself. The no contact thing is pretty much on point for me right now, and it's difficult because I have to. I have a daughter with this person.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
So she's 4 now.
Okay.
And
were you married?
Well,
Is this a marriage or a
no, we were never married. We
Okay.
lived together for 6 years. My daughter, was born, and it really wasn't until, well, I had seen the signs. I had for the most part, kind of taken everything on myself. Thought that everything was me. I was conditioned pretty well. So when when her discard came, it was rough. It was really rough, and she stayed with me for about a month before finally moving out. And it was just that I was just triggered left and right. The tears leaking from my face. I mean, it was
Right.
it was terrible.
Right.
And it wasn't until after she moved out. I typically, my gut wrenching. I thought I was going to die. I just felt all kinds of.
Did she move
terrible.
on? Did she move on to a new relationship?
She moved right on. She had, she had somebody in tow. An
Right.
ex-boyfriend actually.
This is very typical.
Came up.
They have other
Yeah,
they have other supply before they even start to mess around. Okay, but Nate, make no mistake about it, especially if it's an ex-boyfriend, that she can still manipulate and try to get herself back to you. Okay, so you have to keep in check the ruins that she's left behind in you and your vulnerability, so that way she does not come back and start the cycle and the process all over again. Right.
Yeah, the funny thing was before I had even delved into terminology or anything of that sort, I had started trying to do for myself just anything that would bring some kind of peace, and it was one of the first things that I realized was she's sending me these messages here and there. We're trying to coordinate things with our daughter. Which was painstaking enough. But then she starts sending me little messages, trying to talk to me and trying to initiate conversations. And I can't take this. I can't listen to this. I don't. Finally, I started setting boundaries, and I said, just with little things like science fiction and stuff like that, and I just kind of laid it out, and I said, look, Doctor Who is your thing, and Doctor Who is my thing. Doctor Who is no longer our thing. I don't need you to tell me when the next season of something is coming. I have friends who will let me know. I have Facebook. I will be updated. I don't, unless it has something to do with our child. I don't really, I'll figure the rest of it out on my own.
That's how you should be. That's how it should be, right? So here's the thing with these relationships, right? So you're going to find out that in these dynamics in these relationships. There's there can be blessings, but there can also be consequences. Okay. And I say consequences because once again, narcissistic abuse comes down to you and me being involved with people we have no business being involved with, doing things we have no business doing, going places we have no business going, right? And it's this reality that slaps us upside the head when we're with these people and all of a sudden they're off with their ex or whatever, their new supply, and we're going, what in the world happened? And we don't like to say, wow, I should have never have even been gone there with that person. I knew it. The red flags were there, but I got caught off guard because of this. The sex was good, this was good, that was good, whatever. And that was the reason we stayed. Completely wrong reasons for staying in any relationship. And we have hope perseverance because of these good things. Oh, the sex is good, or she's pretty, and this, and so we develop hope perseverance, and I can make this work, even though she's a wild, she's a wild one. You know what I mean? And so there's the
Right.
consequence of that, but there's a blessing in that. The blessing is you're a father. Okay. And so now
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
balance is going to be learning how to understand both of this and know what your responsibility is. Your responsibility is not controlling her and what she does. You can't. Or fixing the relationship that's broken. You can't. You're responsible. Your responsibility now is to be the dad and the father that you're called to be, because nobody else can be a father. Nobody else can be a father.
Right.
Now your ex-girlfriend now can go back to her ex-boyfriend and hope to God he's somewhat of a decent role model, because that's all he'll ever be, is somewhat of a role model. But you will always be father. You'll always be dad.
Right.
So just focus on fulfilling your responsibility as dad, and understanding that it can't be in the dynamic of both dad and mom being together, but you're going to be dad. Focus later on down the road of having a good female role model for your child's life. So when the child's with you, there's that good female role model while you're being
Right.
father and you're focusing on that. Okay. But that's down the road when you get to that point. But this is going to be that challenge for you, is being able to do that. Not get caught up in the he said, she said, who's the better parent, whatever. At some point, you're going
Right.
to have legal, some kind of a legal help mediator in there to help you guys to figure out who gets, who
Oh yeah,
gets your
that's a
child when,
whole that's
you
a
know.
whole other mess right now. I'm actually trying to get through that right now.
Right. It'll be easier once that's
Yeah,
done.
that's a nightmare.
It's going to be
What's that?
hard. That will help it, right? Because then at least this is my time, that's her time, and
Right.
as long as you stay and are responsible with your time, there's no issues on your part. If she messes up and she's making it hard, then you can, you guys are gonna have to
Yeah.
follow the laws, but it will help in that you will know, okay, this is when my child's with me and I get to be a father, and that's my focus.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of
Yeah.
right now trying to negotiate, trying to deal with the narcissist. And I don't know I don't know if she's smearing you, making it difficult on you. I don't know the details, but I'm sure as most of these cases go, she's not making it easy on you. Right. She's
Yeah, absolutely not.
probably,
No, she's more of the covert
yeah,
kind.
slamming
Yeah, she
you,
really laid
de-
back, kind of let me self-destruct.
right.
Laid the ground out, and
Sure. And
I
probably demeaning
walked into a
you
lot of
and,
traps before I got. Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
So I don't know,
challenge, but
and yeah, it is every day. Every day there's something new. Like right now I have full custody.
okay.
With temporary, before the hearing and everything. We've gone through the guardian, situation, and that's all. Basically, everything is coming to light, and that's all coming to, that'll be, I guess, opening up now that
Right.
can of worms. Um, and it's pretty rough, that was where I learned about narcissistic injury, and that just won't be soon forgotten. I've already kind of signed on for taking the brunt of that, but I didn't really notice, honestly. I didn't really have the nerve, I guess, to call things what they were. She was hurting me, all day long, and I mean I was just used to it by then. But when I started seeing the fallout, kind of hit my daughter, that was when I started taking action. So I mean, at
Good.
the very least, on her behalf.
Good.
And I think that part, and like what you said about being a good father and doing that was fighting for her kind of helped me to learn to say, well, you know what, I kind of need to fight for myself too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely. If there's anything your daughter needs, is going to be a healthy dad. So that's going to be your
yeah,
main thing. And if you're caught up in the depression and the fighting and the anxiety of dealing with a narcissist, know what know what you're dealing with, okay, and do what you can to protect yourself, your emotions, so that you can be a healthy father. Okay.
yeah,
And if this means you need to step into counseling, go back to church, get involved in a group like Celebrate Recovery. I'm a huge fan of this group, by the way. Every
yeah,
Friday night, just go and meet with the guys, talk with them, and get over this and learn how to flush out any guilt, any shame, any remorse, any of this stuff for being involved in these relationships and anything else that's gone on in your life. Okay. You'll start to become
right,
healthier and healthier and healthier and wiser as a father, right? And so all of
right,
this, and trust me, I'm speaking from one empath to another because I can hear it in your voice. You are an empathic individual, sensitive. And let me tell you something, man, there's nothing wrong with sensitive men. It's a good thing. I promise you.
yeah.
It's a gift. It's a
I
gift.
learned to embrace it.
It's a
Yeah,
gift, man.
when
Embrace
I
it.
see when I see like, my daughter knowing, or having trust in me, and knowing that that I'm there for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a great feeling. It's how I know that I'm doing the right thing.
I'll tell you what,
You
man,
know.
I'm glad. I would much rather have my kids grow up one day and say, I my dad was a good, he was a sensitive man. I'd rather hear them say that any day than to, grow up saying, my dad was a mean jerk bully who only came around and yelled and you know what I mean?
Right.
So embrace
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Embrace the sensitivity, embrace these gifts that God's given you and work on healing yourself and flush out, the bad stuff. So it's going to take some
Yeah.
work, some counseling, some talking through. It's going to change your perspective of the world, of relationships, of women, of what you need to
Mm.
look for as a man, right? What you need to
Right.
look for as far as a good female role model. Okay. It's going to be a lot of self denial, denying yourself things that you think you need in life and think you want in a relationship,
Right.
right? That's kind of what takes men off on these wild chases of, again, being in people you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing, going places you have no business going, right? So it's going to change.
Right.
So allow these changes to take place. It's going to be painful. It's a detaching moment, but ultimately it's worth it. All right.
Yeah. I wanted to thank you. Because just like I said, recently kind of coming across a lot of information and whatnot. You really stood out as somebody who really got it.
Thank you.
What you had said about the final discard, that was a really big deal for me. That really that helped me just mentally gain some power back.
Thank
So
you.
I
Appreciate
really
that.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Appreciate that.
thank you.
Right on. Thank you for calling.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good night. I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of boldness for the guys out there to call. I know there's a lot of men out there who are going through exactly what you women here are going through in the community too. Listen, I did an episode just a few nights ago on the statistics, and the statistics don't lie when it comes to psychological aggression, right? It's equal across the board. It's basically 50% of the population, 50% of the men, 50% of the women. We'll just call it that. It's actually like 48.4% of women, 48.8% of men. I'm going to round it up to 50%, 50-50 across the board is experiencing psychological aggression. So this means that there are good people out there, both sides, men and women. There are empaths. There are sensitive individuals who are out there just getting nailed because, again, being involved with people you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing, going places you have no business going. All right, guys, we'll have time for one more phone call before we call it a night and move on with the weekend. I do want to continue saying hi to the moderators, and thank you. I already said thank you to Blue. Blue, by the way, if I didn't mention already, Blue does have a Facebook group. Find out about the Facebook group from Blue. I'm sure she's would love to welcome you into that. And Blue, thank you for everything that you are doing. What a huge support you are for the entire community. Taylor, thank you for everything that you're doing. What a support you are for the community as well. It's so good to be able to see you. When I saw your hi, and even the way you welcomed me when I came on, when I first saw you and you said hi, I just love it. You have such a welcoming and a warm spirit. I'm so happy that you are here as a moderator welcoming the Royal We community. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And D Doll, thank you so much too. I'm not going to leave you out, obviously not. You are a tremendous help in everything that you're doing, and I promise you, this weekend while we are away, I'm going to be able to put your image together so that I can include it on next week's live show. So D, everybody give D a big thank you as well for being there. And guys, before we get into too much more, I also want to let you know you're welcome to donate to the Royal We if you feel led to do so and be a support of the Royal We. You can do so by a couple of ways. You can donate through buying merchandise. There are Royal We t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs. You can find that in the description box below this video. So when the video is done, scroll down the description box. You'll find links to the store. You can also donate through PayPal on the Royal We homepage. Just go to the homepage of the Royal We channel. There's a PayPal link there in the right-hand corner. And there are some people who donate one time. There are people who donate on monthly cycles. And that is just amazing to me that I've seen people donate on a monthly cycle, you know, a $20 donation a month or $25 donation a month. It's so huge, and it really does help. And those of you who have noticed that I've been able to do some better things as far as putting this room together that you see behind me, and being able to put a decent microphone in place and some of the other things, I want to thank you guys as a community, because a lot of this is because of you. And so this is your contribution, is helping to allow the message to become cleaner, clearer, and hopefully be able to spread a lot better and be received a lot better. So I want to thank you guys for that, because your contributions really help in that way, guys. So thank you very much for that. And we don't have a telephone call, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show, guys. I want to thank you for being a part of the Royal We tonight. Thank you for listening to the message and for the phone calls. And I spoke too soon. I'll tell you what, I'll take this last phone call from California. We'll make it real quick, okay? And then we'll say goodnight. Caller from California, how are you? You're going to be the last phone call. We're going to make it quick, okay?
Okay.
As quick as we can. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. I was in a relationship, engaged, and I was going through something, and I had no idea what I was going through. And my family and everybody, they were telling me that I looked tired, and I looked always like I wasn't right. And yeah, obviously the marriage didn't go through. Everything fell apart. It was like a discard that just unraveled. And I didn't know what was going on even after the fact that we had a child together. I kind of got in a way stuck, but I was excited about it in the beginning. But all of a sudden, once we moved in together, while she was pregnant, I had a feeling and my intuition telling me that I wasn't with the right person. But obviously,
Right.
you want to try and make it work. So you're there. Times are good, and then other times were bad. And towards the end, it was like one thing happened. 2 weeks after that, another thing happened, and then 2 weeks after that, another thing happened, and then it just unfolded. Not until afterwards, like I started going online and seeing like no contact and narcissism and all that
Right.
stuff. I kind of got an idea of what was probably what was happening, and you kind of do have denial. Like you start to
Sure.
think, like, really, did I really go through it? So it's kind of hard to find that acceptance.
Right.
But the whole no contact really, really helps.
Yeah.
And
So
I could tell that.
did you put
I
up?
could
Did you
tell
put
that.
together? Do you have a strategy as far as is your no contact? Are you being real specific and purposeful with the things that you're changing about yourself to make sure that you don't have to have this confrontations with her?
Yes, because the thing is now it's been a couple of years, so we have an order in place.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps out tremendously.
Good.
So and I could tell the hoovering happens where like something gets brought up to my attention. It's not an emergency or anything like that, but just kind of an opinion of mine, and I just leave it alone. I don't go there because I could feel sometimes when I get a message, anxiety starts to build. Like
Right.
oh my god, I don't want to like see anything from there, but
Yeah.
it's gotten better. I'm good.
Good.
And I feel that with that whole having an order and everything in place, it's kind of like we were saying earlier, like you have your time,
Yeah.
and and she has her time, so it's kind of like there's no interruption there because
That's right.
there's no like leverage or negotiating, and
No.
you
You
know what
just
I
get
mean?
to
Yeah,
focus on being a dad, right? Which is what you're called to do.
exactly.
Which is what you're called to do in this case, right?
Yes,
You can never fix
yes.
that. You can never change her, but your responsibility now to lead and to guide a child. That's your responsibility, right? Not to
It
control,
was
but to lead and
crazy.
guide, right?
Oh no, for sure, for sure. No, it was crazy. Like you know, what I went through. Oh my god.
I've heard it all, man. Trust me, you would not. I guarantee you, you're in the right community, brother. You wouldn't surprise anybody in the Royal We community with anything you would have to say about the narcissist. I know a lot of the people in this community, and the stuff that we've all seen and been through is just next world stuff, man. And that's what happens when you're involved with these people. Again, it's a direct result of being involved with somebody you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing. You might as well take the hand. And I don't know this person you dealt with, but in a lot of cases, you're following a wolf to a den. You're taking the devil by the hand and you're going to the hell pit fire, and you're dancing in that, and you're going to see things that you've never seen before, be a part of stuff and witness things and lies and manipulations that you never thought were real. That's the type of stuff that you did not think existed exists in the world when you're with an abusive narcissist, especially in
Yep.
especially in this day and age. Okay. And I tell this to all the, anytime I talk to somebody privately on the phone, this is not a day you want to mess around. I know that for a long time, a lot of us had this thing like, no big deal, man. She's cute. She's hot, this and that. No biggie. I got this, whatever. And, we see these stories on the news of people getting hurt, you know what I mean? Of girlfriends doing whatever to their boyfriends, and it horrible stuff ends up on shows like Crime Watch. People go missing. And
Yeah.
we tend to push this stuff out and go, well, that can't happen to me, and not, she's too cute for that. No, it can happen to anybody, right?
No.
We need to wake up to the reality of today's world that we live in, the entitlement, the manipulation, the ways in which, especially people who have a narcissistic personality, they're growing more into the antisocial behavior and the ability to lie, to cover themselves up, to get more crafty. You really have to be on guard. So if there was ever a day where the Bible verse that says, I send you out as sheep amidst the wolves, so be as shrewd as a serpent, innocent as a dove. If there was ever a day and age where this would be to apply, it was always to apply ever since he said it. But today, it matters the most because it just might save you from a world of hurt. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like in the beginning, you don't know what you're getting yourself involved.
That's true.
It's towards the end or the
Yeah.
middle, or like if they switch it on you, so it's kind of like what. So
Sure.
it's not like you get attacked, like a sneak attack, like blindsided. So
Yeah.
and you know, my
Yeah.
circumstance, like we had a kid, so I tried to make it work because of that, or
Right.
else I would have left long time ago, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
you know,
Right.
so it's kind of like, it's gonna
Yeah.
get better. It's gonna get better. You know, you go to therapy, and it actually made it worse because then they start putting it in your head like, oh, you gotta compromise. You know, you gotta do this. You know, and it actually made it worse. And it
Therapists
was
don't
just
understand that
yeah.
you can't compromise with these people. It doesn't work,
Yeah,
right?
but
In a
yeah, but
normal,
when you go to therapy,
yeah,
when you go to therapists, they tell you that like, oh, you got to compromise, you got to do this, you got to listen to the other person, and it's like it made it worse, you know.
absolutely, yeah. Well, listen, I want to thank
But
you for
anyhow,
calling. I want to thank you for calling, for taking that bold step, man. That's big of you. It's bold, and I encourage you. I know you're out in California. I'm gonna recommend a group to you that I recommend to all guys and everybody. Actually, it's called Celebrate Recovery. It's a great group to go. It's
uh-huh.
free every Friday night. It's a good place to go just to have a place to go and talk to some other guys and get a lot of this stuff out on a weekly basis. You're always welcome to join here and call in any night you want to as well, and we'll chat about stuff too. So,
Oh, thank
but
you. You know what? You helped me out. You helped me out a lot. Just
cool,
watching your videos and all that stuff.
right
And
on,
I appreciate that.
right on,
You know, so I was just watching, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna give a call. So I want to thank you.
right on. Well, thank you. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Have a good night.
Okay. Bye.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Blue. Once again, thank you, D. Doll. I'm so very grateful that you are here. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for everything that you are doing in the community, in the chat. Thank you for making the chat what it is. Thank you for all of the YouTube family, the Royal We family on the YouTube chat room here, just for being there for each other, for encouraging one another. That's really what it's about. It's this connection that you guys have. And I want to thank you for all the callers, because it takes strength to be able to pick up the telephone and to make a call and to talk about what it is you're about to talk about, especially when it comes to dealing with something that you don't think people know what it is you're talking about. Well, this is definitely a safe place, and we do know what you're talking about. And so thank you again for making that phone call. I hope that you guys have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the Royal We Live, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you Monday, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the Royal We. Oh, before I forget, if you have not checked out the Royal We course, there's a course. There's a description to, or a link in the description box down below to the course, and you will be able to find out more about the course there. The course will really give you the heart behind the Royal We, as well as help you through understanding the acceptance of the reality of narcissistic abuse. The course is also going to grow into more modules over time. And exit music, that's not a bad idea, D. I'll go ahead and I'll do that. And for those of you guys also who are willing to donate, like I said before, you can donate through PayPal. PayPal on the link on the Royal We homepage, or you can also buy merchandise, Royal We merchandise, t-shirts, mugs, and be a supporter of the Royal We in that way. You can find all that information in the description box below this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not already done so, and I'll see you Monday right here on the Royal We Live. Good night, everybody.